Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and today I'm doing a discussion over a little Wordy, a sneaky two-player tile game about words for aspiring geniuses and would-be word wizards. It's also a game by the people who made Exploding Kittens, which is a horrendous game. Exploding Kittens is awful. But a little Wordy had me intrigued because it's a word game, which I really like those. I like most word games that I play. And it was specifically for two players. And I was like, well, that's also intriguing. Most word games are better with large groups of people. This seems relatively niche, so I'll give it a shot. And a little Wordy, I don't know why it's birds. I think they literally were just like, well, we have Exploding Kittens, so it's about kittens, so we'll do another game about birds, and we'll just tie everything to that. I will say it's cute. Like, the cards have, like, bird puns, like the Loch Ness Monster, Emperor Drangwin, Permed Eagle, Blowfinch, Aerial Bombardment, YOLO Dodo, the Dinosaur, just things like that. But the reason why it's called a sneaky two-player game is because you're competing. So you have your own little, word screen here, and you're given a certain number of vowels and consonants. You actually have really nice bags for the vowels and the consonants. And so what you do is you get a certain number of vowels, and I think it's four vowels, and I got E, O, and blah, 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 I, and 6 consonants. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got a V, L, N, R, N, D, and another L. And what you do is you secretly make a word out of these tiles. So I have an L. Oh, you know what? I'll just be super nice, and I'll do L, O, V, and E. I got love. So then you have on your screen here your secret word. So you write down your secret word. In this case, it'd be love. And then you write it. And this is also a nice little touch that your secret word is covered and you don't have to keep your screen up the whole time, which is kind of annoying, but you have your notes and observations still there. So then you shuffle up your tiles, and then you give all the tiles to your opponent, the second player you're playing with. And those cards I mentioned earlier, you'll have a certain number of them out, and these are what you will use to try and guess what your opponent's secret word is. But the better the ability you get, the more of these berry tokens that you give them. Because whoever guesses the opponent's word first isn't necessarily the winner unless they have more of the berry tokens than the other player. So if you're using a better ability to guess what your opponent's word is, where you're also giving them more berry tokens. So if they guess it before you, then you've kind of just handed them the win. And like, for example, they have the mana tweet. Mana tweet. It's 1 berry, but it says you build a valid word from the tiles in front of you, and your opponent tells you whether that their secret word is longer, shorter, or the same length. And the reason why it's only 1 is because you have to build a word, and you don't really get much from them unless you build a word that they also created. Like if someone took my tiles and made love, and then they give me 1 berry, and I'm like, it's the same length. Well, they could then turn around the very next turn and be like, is your word love? And if they're wrong, then you get a berry token. But if they're right, then it's like, yeah, that was it. But they have the spicy, they have vanilla cards, they have 6 vanilla cards, and then, I don't know how many spicy cards. And you just kind of shuffle those and put a certain number of them out. I found this game to be very delightful. Like, you don't see any two-player like word games unless it's Scrabble. Like, I mean, there's Paperback. That's a deck-building word game. That could be that's 2 players. You have the new one that came out I think it was this year, what was it? Illiterati, halves I just mentioned, tags I think is kind of a word game. I'm trying to think of other word games off the top of my head, but the fact that it was also a competitive, like 1v1 word game, I thought was really neat. It's this game is also just kind of a very light, like it's not that big of a deal whenever you're playing it. This could be a very cute, like couples game to play. Also, a really small package to just kind of put out in public if you're just, wanting to just have like a casual sit down but play a fun game. It's not that big of a footprint, especially because you don't have to keep these out. Like you don't have to sit here with this just up and then all the tiles out. It's like, oh, okay, yep. Here's your 10, your 10 tiles, and this is out. And then you say, you have your dry erase, and it's like, I'm going to use that ability, so you have to tell me what your word begins with. Oh, okay, it begins with an L, and you just keep track, and then you start messing with the tiles. And you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll try and guess. Is your word love? Oh, it is? All right, yay, I win. And then you just reset it. One thing I do enjoy, and some people might not, is that because the vowels and the consonants are random from the bag, you might only be given like one option. At least that's apparent. Like the word that I just happened to see from all of those was love. And some people might not like this as well because it does kind of rely on your own knowledge of like the English language, or it doesn't really have to be English, but the like language, so that I'm dying. So if you don't know a whole lot of words, maybe your secret words might be a little bit more basic, which then in turn make it obvious for the other player to kind of guess. And I feel like that's just kind of going to be an issue with any word game that I can think of. But if you have a pretty decent vocabulary, then you can come up with some really cool ones and some really neat niche secret words that really make your opponent try and figure it out. And I've had games like that where it was kind of like, what was funny is like the clue. I played one game where the clue was guessed and I lost. But then the tokens I got the very next game, I was able to... It was the same letters, but I was able to make a longer word, which then completely threw off the person I was playing with. And I like that. I like that you can kind of have games that are like, well, this is what I got. Hopefully they don't guess it. And other games where they're like, I have no idea. And you're like, yeah. It's very, very simple to learn. I think the powers that they throw in are cute. Like they're bird puns or bird-related titles. But I like that kind of like, I'm going to use this higher power one. I'm going to risk it. I'm giving you 5 tokens, but I'm also getting a bunch of information at this specific point in time that if you don't guess the word on your turn, then I'm going to guess your word on the next turn. So it has that kind of back and forth. It's also not very long, so it's just neat. It's a neat, sneaky little 2-player tile laying game for the aspiring geniuses and word wizards. I mean, that's how I describe a lot of games like this. So I don't really have like a whole lot to really talk about here. Like it's if you're like looking for word games, then I mean, this might be one to kind of check out if you're, I don't know, maybe if you're a fan of, like, just trying to outsmart, one other player, then, Codenames, God, Codenames is a word game, Jesus Christ. Codenames Duel is a fantastic, or Duet is a fantastic 2-player game, but, again, you're also on a team. In those games. Here you're actively competing to try and get your opponent to not guess your word. and I think that's a nice little twist. So, if you want something that's a little bit different as a 2-player word game, I would recommend A Little Wordy. And that's it. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I would give A Little Wordy... I'm going to give it a 7. I think it's a good game. Is it the best 2-player game? No, I think I'd still rather play probably Paperback or Codenames Duet, because I prefer word games to be cooperative. But this is just a nice little one to break up the the monotony of cooperative games. So anyway, that's my thoughts on A Little Wordy. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.